What's going on, guys? I'm going to start this thing a little bit early because I just want to get into it. So the reason why I'm doing this, and maybe it could be something that I do more of, this whole idea of journal reading for those who need more proof. Some of y'all might think, listen, this dude is just talking about starting over, but he don't really know what he's talking about. I'm gonna read you some stuff that's gonna it blew my mind. So I'm hoping that it blows yours, and you're just like, what? I'm like, yeah, exactly. I've been through this, right? Or I'm going through it. But it's also for those of you that need encouragement. This is not for everyone. There are those of you who might not document things like some of us do, and or you may not have had deep or meaningful discussions that you can't recall. So it may not be for you. This is for those of you that have recorded some stuff. You've already worked out the problem, but somehow you're still struggling with some stuff that you shouldn't have struggled with anymore because you already worked it out. Okay, this is for you. I'm going to read you some stuff from my journal. Now, the reason why I'm going through, it's not really a journal. So this is the Moleskine that I've been using for like a lot of business stuff. So on LinkedIn, I've been sharing a lot of branding tips, and now it's getting a little real. It's getting a little real now on LinkedIn, where I have to start skipping over some things, and just talk about the branding, because there's some stuff that I was working out when I was in some deep stuff, like homeless stuff in New York City type stuff, right? So take a look at this, guys. Take a look. This is from July 6th, 2014. I'm going to read this, and then I want you to we'll get into it. Listen to this. God has entrusted me with something, and it was called the Gazamin back in the day, and I'll tell you why. But God has entrusted me with something, Gazamin, that I cannot take credit for. Bartley Group is creditworthy to me. Gazamin is creditworthy to God. I didn't come up here to start a new company. This is New York City. This is when I lived in Brooklyn. I came up here to receive what God wanted to give me. I went through 9 months of humility, trial, burden, reflection to be closer to fulfilling his purpose, not my own. And then I write in all caps, or ellipsis, maybe I'm being a bit extreme and can definitely do both, ellipsis, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, question mark, 3 exclamation marks. All right, let's stop. Let's stop. Hey, hey, Theodore, this is gonna be real good. In July of 2014, 6 years ago, I had 2 paradigms that I am now still not wrestling with anymore, but I've now brought back. And that is the Bartley Group. Oh my God. Now this one was, I wrote this one because it was with X's, because I had the Bartley with an X, and there's a whole story behind that. And then Gazamin. Okay. What is Gazamin? Gazamin is the anti-hero clinic. It was named Gazamin first because it's short for 2 words put together, Gaza and ministry. So it was after the paradigm of Samson. He's one of the top anti-heroes in the Bible, and Gaza was the place where he exhibited his hubris. So he was at the pinnacle of his arrogance. This is when he was, breaking out of the ropes and, took the gate on his back and was like, "Oh, y'all can't catch me." And it was also in the place that he reached his depth of humiliation. And it's also the place where he regained his honor. So Gaza is huge, I believe, and this is what the anti-hero clinic is all about. We all have a Gaza experience. And I think that for many of us, the same place that we've reached our depth is the place that God is going to show us where our honor and our success, all of that is going to come from. Why? Because he's God and he can do that. So it's usually the scary place. All right, so let's get that out the way. Here's the crazy thing. 6 years ago, I mentioned the Bartley Group before as an LLC, but 3 years ago, 2017, I was wrestling with what I should call the branding thing that I was going to do. What should it be? Bartley Design, Bartley Group, going through all of this stuff. And I realized that I already named the thing 6 years before. The work was already done. But because I didn't go back and look at the stuff that I've written or the stuff that I've documented, I was wrestling with some stuff that I really didn't need to wrestle with, guys. Okay, so what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is, for those of you that write stuff down like I do, start looking over some things that you've written down over the past few years. You most likely already solved the issue. So now that I'm in this place right now, I'm in this space where I'm going in hard. Like y'all like, yo, he's doing another live. Yep, I'm doing another live. How does he get the graphics up so quickly? Because I've done graphic stuff before. Like this stuff isn't new to me. So now it's just being deployed in a different way. And it's easier for me to do this kind of stuff. And I'm also in a place where I'm sharing what is actually happening to me. Now I used to do this in blogging, but now video is just more dynamic. So when stuff gets hit, like I got my lights and stuff set up now because you never know, right? And so here's what's happening. I want you to take a look at this. I created a structure January 6th, 2014. Yo, hey, Brian, when you see when you see what I'm going to show you, Brian, you're like, what? So the Bartley Group is the top hierarchy. And then I have Gazamin, which is now called the Anti-Hero Clinic for Spiritual Narrative Development. That's restorative. I had something back in the day called the NIB project, like the NIB of, writing for professional narratives. That's like the practical stuff, people who wanted to do resumes, essays, and stuff like that, help them with that. And then I had something called the Breadcrumb project, which was like personal narrative discovery. That was more reflective. Here's the crazy thing though. Brian, get this. I'm great at making paradigms and concept maps. This is 6 years ago. My moleskins are full of them. I just came across this today. Like as I'm reading this, this is how come I sound so excited. I'm reading this and I'm telling you how, like what's actually going on. My moleskins are full of them. Perhaps I should focus on the actual development of map making versus finding something specific on the map to do. Some of y'all are going through this. I enjoy creating and connecting concepts more than I enjoy writing. I'm in a place right now where that's still a reality. Now, writing is a discipline that needs to be honed in and it needs to be done. But bruh, 6 years ago, I actually wrote the same thing and I'm pretty darn good at it. I didn't put the word darn in there. And then I also write down like the sketching out the stuff. Writing, paradigming, connecting, because writing is connected to creative for sharing, paradigming for concepts, for clarity, and connecting ideas and events for discovery. Listen, yo, Stephanie, exactly. So here's what I'm trying to say. First of all, I'm coming back, right? You remember I told you about Les Brown's story, and 75 now, and he's now in this place where he's like, wow, I've done all of this speaking, but I haven't fulfilled the mission of the Greatness Center. I'm coming back to the Greatness Center. I'm telling you this because it hasn't been 30 plus years for me. It's really just been about, I wrote this down in 2014, but really the idea came about at the end of like 2011. So we're looking at almost 9-10 years. What I'm trying to tell, it's not too late, man. It is not too late. The proof is in the pudding. I have written some stuff down that now, hey, listen, when it's time to go into this thing, because this is part of the process, by the way, like me sharing this content, I'm not going to be scratching my head trying to figure out, oh my goodness, I already got the work. Like I already got it done. It's already completed. So here's another thing. Hey, Zav, appreciate you, bro. So here's the other thing too. Some of y'all might think that you're behind schedule. For years, I thought that I was behind schedule. Like I really thought that I was just so far behind everyone. Yo, check out my man Zav's page when you get a chance. Like he's doing some really good stuff. Brian is doing some stuff too. Well, Theodore is what it would say on the thing. Steph as well. Like, but you're not behind schedule. The reason why I'm saying that is because if I were to compare the page in my book to somebody else's, it would look totally out of whack. So what perhaps, and I can't even say it's a perhaps anymore. I think that this is just the reality. Perhaps God probably gave you some stuff. And this is why I don't think he be giving visions like he used to some folks, because some of us can't handle it. We be thinking, when is it happening? Oh my goodness. Perhaps your mind was just so advanced, or he gave you the stuff beforehand so that you can come to a moment like right now. Like I'm at the moment right now, guys, where he's like, good, son, you already got the blueprint. I gave you the blueprint 6 years ago. So now all you need to do, now that you have gone through the development that you needed to go through, you've worked out some character kinks, you've overcome some trials, you've overcome some temptations, like you're good. You are going to go to a level that you can't mess up this thing. Because I need you to be at your A game, and you cannot be at the top and still struggle with the stuff that you were struggling with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Now that we good, go ahead and open up to page number 15 in your hymnal. Like now you can go ahead and look at the notebook. Look at the notes that you took, especially in the time of adversity that you were in, and get to work. So that's it, y'all. This ain't going to be a long one. I just wanted y'all to know. I just wanted to share with y'all that this is proof right here. Like if you have had similar experiences to writing things down and you're not really sure, like, you know, what you're supposed to do, go back to your journals. Look at your journals. Actually, I'm going to share one more with you guys. I just lost my page. Let me see if I can find it and just share this with you, because I had to skip all of this when I was going through LinkedIn. So here's another one. I wrote what the Bartley Group was, and I wrote what Gazim Anti-Hero Clinic is. And I wrote that Anti-Hero Clinic, I wrote, simply put, I wrote, this is the calling. 6 years ago. This is the calling. Bartley Group. Look at this one. This is July 5th, same 2014, July 5th. I write, is this a cop-out or distraction from my purpose? Do I really need to have a DBA, doing business as, if Gazim is already trademarked and ready to go? So for those of you I don't know, Anti-Hero Clinic was called Gazim, and Gazim was actually registered under the USPTO, Patent Trademark Office, for to do work. And part of that process of just trademarking it was because it was going to be a nonprofit, blah, 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 like going through the whole process. So I'm thinking now, do I need an entity for another entity? Some of y'all might struggle with this, where you're thinking, why don't I just do the work? Why don't I just get it done and just do the content? Some of us are big picture thinking people. I can talk like this now because I'm in a more confident place. Some of us, we're not thinking about just getting the content and putting it up. We're thinking about the structure and the system in which the content needs to be put in. That's why I started transitioning from copywriting. It was a natural progression to branding, and then from branding to just frameworking and this idea of management consulting and understanding where does even branding and marketing works in the big picture. A lot of us have this idea of having systems where all of the other things that we develop, skill sets or whatever, works underneath it. Okay. So for me, I'm thinking, why do I need an entity under an entity? And I put, what would the Bartley Group actually do that Gazim can't, or that the previous LLC that I had wasn't doing? Perhaps it should just be, I was using my last name and used as a pseudonym for my art. All I'm saying is this, guys. I worked out the thought process already. Some of us, I think, I could be wrong, but some of us, we have to write this stuff out because our minds, either they go so fast or we just are early onset Alzheimer's people. I don't know, but we have stuff that we have written down, and we have to remind ourselves to remind ourselves. Like, we have to write a reminder to look at our reminders, because if we don't, we'll forget that we already solved the problem. Okay, so that's for any of y'all that are connected with me right now. You probably already solved it. You probably already did the work, and you're probably depressed or beating yourself up because you feel as if you hadn't done the work, but you did because you went through a season that might be suppressed in your mind. Hello, therapy is on its way real soon for you, boy, right? Like, there's some stuff that you just forgot, and you got to go back through it. You got to find it. And when you find it and you realize I already answered the issue, the next thing, theater, write the vision and remember the vision. I'm in a place now where I can't just write the stuff down. I got to remember that I did write it down. And you got to trust. Hey, guys, you have to trust that when you did the work, you were in a very safe and a very, what's the word I'm looking for? A very stable place. In the midst of your chaos, we talked about the void this morning. That's where you are. That's where you were. Read your stuff. And yes, your mindset might shift, and there are things that, have developed a maturity and all of that. But what I'm saying is this: there's some stuff that you've already written down. Trust that when you did write it down, the stuff that you wrote down for the business, you probably already figured some stuff out, guys. For some of my fellas that are connected with me, especially those of you that we went to WeWork and all of that together, like, there's some stuff that you guys already figured out, that you already worked out. You don't need to go through it again. You don't need a mentor for it. I mean, for some stuff you do, but y'all know what I mean. There's some stuff that you don't need to waste money, time, resources, or another conversation on. Just go back to the blueprint that you originally had. Follow the blueprint. Everything else will follow through. That's it. That's all I got for you. Now, if y'all got some questions, I think we might have some people that's still watching. Let's go and type them questions in. and I'm ready to rock and roll. I mean, I want this thing to be a constructivism type of, paradigm. So, we can build, share meaning together. It doesn't have to be just, lecturing. Um, and I should probably just like throw up. Yeah, sometimes you have to revisit the plan. Yeah, absolutely. 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 So this was a previous reaction. Stephanie was like, wow, yo, I was blown away too, Steph. Like, how on earth do you get so meticulous with your wording and your thought process, and then you just throw it away? Yeah, revisit it and put it in motion. So you know why this is really got me amped, and I had to share this while I was in the moment of, oh my gosh. The reason why this got me amped was because I am now at the junction. I am now at the intersection where I need to put a plan in place, and I got the plan, y'all. I got the plan, and this is happening live. Like that's I think the most exciting thing for me. So how do you recenter yourself if you are off track? Whew. Well, let's talk about my process. So Theodore, you know what happened to me that allowed me to recenter myself? I think you can do it in one of two ways. For me, it happened the second way, and the second way was not by will. I cracked open. So there's a show. I can't remember the name of the show, and it said that Angela, what's good, Angela? Oh my goodness, I think it's been 3 years. It's been a minute, and I think you still down here, right? You still down here? Like, it's good to see you too. It's good to see you too. So let me deal with Theodore's question first. So okay. It happened to me by cracking open. So there's this quote that said that there's going to come a point in time when you try and eventually it's like, like the pressure comes and she says she's still avoid. Okay, yeah, we need to fix that. I got to do better. At a certain point, Theodore, you just crack open. And everything that you were trying to do, it's no longer you needing to try to do it. You're just getting it done. This is like the involuntary recentering, where just something just breaks in you and it breaks you open. So that happened to me about 2 weeks ago now, when I literally just broke down crying. And not only did I break down crying, not for my past relationship, not for stuff that I even cried before, like about my homelessness and, trying to finish school. The pressure, hey, listen, it's pressure, right? So my mom has an MBA already, right? And she got a 4.0. So you best believe that as much as I don't want to admit it, I come from a family of high achievers. If it's not academic, it's trade. Like it's some, you got to do your best. So you best believe 3.9 ain't gonna cut it. And I've had the 2 hardest classes at the end of the semester, bro. Everything was just kind of weighing down. So I'm at this point where I'm like, and then there was just like, we were just in a worship moment. I broke down crying. And Angela, because you know who he is, I ended up breaking down behind in the backstage of StreamYard, and Pierre was watching. So not only did I crack open, guys, but I cracked open in front of another person. This wasn't even a private moment. And the crazy thing was, you can't open up like that. I mean, of course I could have ran and left, but why? Like I embraced the moment, and my recentering happened when I realized there's some stuff that needed to be expelled. The hurt, pain, all of that stuff, it needed to leave so that I can then hone in and focus. So Brian, that's one thing that happens. Here's another thing. Another way that you can recenter yourself is you're probably doing things already that's helping you to do that. So for the last, I'm gonna check it right now because I got a streak going on here. And I want to make sure that I got this proper. I think I'm going on 90 days now, where let's see, where we at? Yeah, I think I'm about at the 90-day mark. I can't find the exact streak right now, but I'm killing the game with like the indoor workouts. Every day showing up. So I'm at 52 right now, 52 burpees right now. And yeah. For me, being able to show up every day and wake up, and that's the first thing that I'm doing, there are things that I don't like doing that I have to do. And so I do believe that there are constructs that we already have put in place that we need to remind ourselves that even though I might not be as best, or, I'm not excelling in this area right now, there are other places that I can really focus on and highlight those to share with others or just with myself and say, listen, I'm still consistent in some other things. If I can just master that, then I can push that over to the other side. Eventually it does work out. So that's another way to recenter yourself. There's some other things too, but the biggest way to recenter yourself is your mindset. And a lot of people, I mentioned this earlier this morning, especially those who are wealthy, man, meditation is huge. What you tell yourself, especially for the day, will stick with you for the rest of that day, for the week. How are you declaring how your day is going to begin? So for me, that's just a few ways. But the huge recentering was the vulnerability in front of somebody else. I just broke down. You know how many periodities I went to and I didn't really cry? Like it was that time. So let's see here. Steph says, I feel like going back to your older notes puts you back on track in a sense. It does, right? And here's the thing, right, Steph, it's not like my old journal entries. I mean, I have a journal, but it's not my old journal entries that talk about my woes and, how the ex or how the job or how the friend or how that milestone moment that broke it's not that stuff. You don't want to rehash those feelings. The book that I'm reading from, y'all, is a book of action. And so I think you may need more than one book, more than one journal perhaps, or maybe you want to consolidate and put it all together, but categorize those suckers where you talk about your emotions and how your day was going, but then also talk about the plans and the things that you're trying to get done, the stuff that you're trying to work out. Because it really blew my mind when I realized, oh, hold on, wait a minute. I'm not talking about feeling stuff here. Feeling stuff is important. I got a book for that. But I'm talking about like work, productivity, the things that need to get done, and I'm sorting that stuff out. So for somebody like me, that was super helpful. Oh yeah. Oh, Ted, getting up and setting intentions, man, it's huge. It's a huge thing, and it seems so simple, but you know what? In the beginning of this year, I'm in this men's group, and they told us to pick a word for the year 2020. This was before COVID happened, and before COVID happened. This was January. We all had to choose a word, and my word was relentless. And I literally wrote, I'm gonna push back as hard as 29 pushed me in. I'm gonna push back as hard as I was pushed in 2019. And I said, and that's to the edge. I had no idea. We had no idea COVID was gonna happen, y'all. We had no idea COVID was a thing. Like, who knew? So I'm talking about, I'm going in. And 2020 is like, all right, yeah, my dude. All right. And boy, did it hit. So you know what I did? I remembered my word. We're talking about recentering. My word was relentless. So I said, okay, I'm actually supposed to be on track to finish the MBA in 2021. I said 2020, that's how you want to act? That's how you want to behave, 2020? All right, I'm gonna double up. I'm gonna double up my classes, and I'm gonna finish 2020 with the program. I'm done with you, 20. Like, I'm good. We good. 2021, we're gonna enter in with some accomplishments. Life is not always about accomplishments, but this year, let's go ahead and make that work. So for some of y'all, we got 30 days left. There's still some things that y'all could do in these last 30 days of the year, right? That you probably hadn't even considered doing, or you might have delayed for the next year and all of that. Go ahead and do it now. Like, this is real truth. So I'm not trying to tell y'all hypotheticals, and that's why I read the entry that I read, because I want y'all to know that this is proof, man. Like, it's not too late. I think that's the biggest thing that I wanted to tell you, that it's not too late. And if you are surrounding yourself with friends or with people who are telling you that it's too late, if they've given you a narrative that it's too late to fix something, that it's too late, cut them off. 2020 is not 2020 is enough of the too late narrative for a lot of us. Move forward. Yeah, that's the challenge. Cut them off, man. Like, and you know what? In love, move on in love. Don't do it out of hate, but you need to protect yourself. We talked about self-care a lot over the last few years. And I think that one of the ways that, we fail to do that is by actually changing your circles or just shifting just ever so slightly. LinkedIn has 3 degrees. Take that first degree connection and put them back down to a second degree. Like, do it like that. Some of y'all don't even need for those of y'all that know LinkedIn, some of y'all need to find an email to get to the person. That's how much y'all need to cut them out, right? So what I'm saying is, don't be dramatic, don't be drastic, but you need to be practical in knowing that 2020 is still here. There's still time, and there's some things that we can do. It's not too late. Okay. And that's why I read that. Cool. So before I get out of this thing, any other any comments, anything? I just want to highlight and celebrate you guys that have been rocking with me for the last 25 minutes. I really do appreciate y'all. One of the things that I think that could cause a lot of by the way, okay. So for those of you that still might be watching, okay. One of my goals is I want to be able to share this platform for everybody who is connected with me right now to share at least one story that they think that's important to them. So years ago, maybe 7-8 years ago, I had this idea called the chair, and I would create the chair. I bought a chair and I had a Sharpie, and I would sit people down in it, homeless people and those individuals who didn't have a story. I felt like they didn't have a story, right? Or they did have a story, but they didn't have a platform. And so I would sit them down and just record them and ask them, anything that you want to share, talk to me. If you're okay with, me recording this. I never released the footage, and I don't even know where the footage is. It's probably on some external hard drive. And I only really got 2 people to sign it until I actually became homeless myself by choice, right? And it was almost as if God was like, cool, but the only way that you're going to understand people in the chair, son, is if you sit in it. So I'm gonna need you to pack your stuff up and go ahead and find your own chair, because this is the only way that you're gonna resonate and really empathize with those who you say you want to help. Not everybody got to do it, but you got to do it. I need you to go through that process. And I did. I went through that process, and it was rough. But I say all of that to say that I want the people who I'm connected with to sit in the proverbial chair. And one day we can live stream together. What's your story? We all have a story. And perhaps if your story is a little bit if it's not shared right, if it's not shared appropriately, I talked about how you can share it properly. Maybe we can do it live, or we can help to reframe your story so that the thing that's been the most important to you, we change the narrative on screen. But then that's a whole nother thing too. So let me know if that's something that you're interested in. Hit me up and let me know. Cause I'm gonna hold you to it, Steph. I'm gonna hold you to it because I really think that it's something that especially now, we have the ability to do, and it's so easy. It's so easy to do it. And I believe we all have at least one story. We're in our 30s now. So, I think we've all got something that we can share with people. And Angela, I know you got, okay, cool. I know you got some stories too, right? So let's do that, guys. I think I have like maybe a couple hundred, but I realize we're connected to people on Facebook, but we're not really connected. So this perhaps is just my way of trying to feel, more connected with others and sharing value. And just giving us a platform, giving you a platform to share what you want to share in your way, your own way. All right, cool. All right, guys. So that's it. I think that y'all might like the whole journal entry thing. So I think I might do more of that. And there may be some tea in some of this. Actually, most of my stuff isn't even physical. A lot of it is digital now. So I've had to export a lot of my entries when I switched phones. Guys, yeah, I did switch from iPhone to Android after 12 years. I did. Don't ask me why, but I did make that switch 2 years ago. So, I kind of like it just a little bit. Just want y'all to know, the OnePlus is hitting the spot. Just want y'all to know that, just in case anybody cares, but y'all probably don't. So anyway, yeah, man, hit me up. Let me know. And just throw the schedule out so that y'all can just find a time that y'all want to link up, and we'll go ahead and do this. And maybe we make this a thing. Maybe we just make the thing where we just read entries and we discuss. Because you know what I realized, guys? Last thought. What I realized is that most of our thoughts aren't necessarily unique. And when I say unique, you are special, but most of our ideas and our processes aren't. Somebody else has wrestled, grappled with it. And if they haven't, then perhaps what we share will help them when they get to the point where they need the same process or same thought pattern or same framework that you had already worked on years ago. All right. I love y'all. We out.